Durham County, North Carolina has a budget of more than $750 million and is home to more than 300,000 residents, many of whom are probably wondering, how does Durham County Government, or DCO, decide what to fund? That's where the Durham County Budget Office comes in with the annual budget process. But before we learn about the budget process, let's learn a few budget basics first. The annual budget is the approved plan to fund Durham County's objectives and goals within a fiscal year. The fiscal year begins July 1st of the current year and ends June 30th of the following year. Much like your budget at home, Durham County's budget has two main components: what we spend and how much money we receive. We call how much we spend our expenses or expenditures, and we call how much we receive our revenues. Now let's take a look at a typical day of a public health pharmacist to learn the different categories of expenses in Durham County. One category is personnel, which accounts for the salary and benefits of Durham's 2,000 plus county staff. Personnel is the county's largest expense. Operating is another type of expense and covers a broad category of expenditures. Operating is most everything you see in this frame, or simply put, it's what Durham County spends so that personnel can operate our services and programs. Finally, the last category of expense is capital. Capital expenses are considered one-time expenses that cost more than $5,000. Many of the machines and equipment that public health uses to sort prescriptions or run labs fall under capital. But don't confuse a capital expense for Durham County's capital improvement plan. The capital improvement plan is a process outside of the annual budget process, as it's a plan that is developed 10 years at a time to drive Durham County's infrastructure projects. Now let's take a look at revenues. Remember, revenue is the money that Durham County receives to fund the goals and objectives for our fiscal year. Our largest revenue source is our taxes, which account for about 75% of total revenues. There are different taxes, but you're probably most familiar with property or sales tax. But we also collect other taxes like occupancy tax, or when someone stays in Durham County. Taxes are incredibly important to maintaining a well-functioning community for all Durham County residents. In addition to taxes, Durham County receives revenue from intergovernmental sources in the form of grants, or if a program is mandated, we can collect a certain percentage provided by higher levels of our government, like the federal or state government. A smaller but still important revenue source is county's fees. This is funding that Durham County collects from citizens for providing services, which could be anything from a client picking up a prescription in public health to our cooperative extension department providing cooking classes to local children. Most importantly, our budget must be balanced, which means our expenses equal our revenue. Or simply, Durham County is not allowed to spend more money than we receive. Now that we know a few budget basics, let's circle back around to the annual budget process. The process begins in November with the budget kickoff. This is when the budget director presents to county commissioners and county staff to give an overview of the upcoming year. How is Durham County's financial status at the moment? How much new revenue, if any, are we going to collect to fund new programming? Are there any threats on the horizon that could make the new budget process difficult to navigate? Are all questions being answered for our commissioners, staff, and citizens during the kickoff? After 3 months of creating new budget requests and going line by line of million-dollar budgets, departments present their new budget requests to county management. Each department during February and March gets a chance to present to county management to advocate for their budget and why they need their new spending requests to be funded. As much as county management would love to fund all spending requests presented to them, the budget process occurs because the amount of budget requests submitted far outpaces the level of new revenue or spending capacity that Durham County has each new year. Part of county management's difficult job during the budget process is knowing what to fund and knowing what to cut. The next part of the budget process occurs in May, when the county manager presents their budget to the county commissioners. This budget is only a recommendation. The county commissioners are elected officials chosen by Durham County citizens to guide Durham County in the direction of citizen wishes. The commissioners can remove or add anything to the county manager's recommended budget. Let's listen to a brief moment of the fiscal year 2023-24 manager's recommended budget.
Good evening to Chair Howerton and this illustrious and very distinguished Board of Commissioners. Good evening to county staff. Good evening to county residents. It is indeed an honor and a privilege for me to present to you my recommended budget for fiscal year 2023-24.
Following the county manager's recommended budget, the county commissioners hold several work sessions where departments, boards, commissions, and other key internal and external stakeholders can come and present to advocate for additional funding to be added to the commissioner's approved budget. This is also the time that the budget team may come in and provide additional analysis or context to different budgeted initiatives. It's during this time that we encourage citizens to become involved in the budget process. After all, county commissioners are elected to serve the interests of Durham County citizens, and they need to hear from you to know the direction their decision should take. There are several ways that you can get involved. You can attend or speak at our budget hearings, contact your county commissioners via email or social media. During the budget process, the budget team opens a portal where you can write in your opinions on any aspect of the budget. And finally, make sure to follow Durham County Budget on our social media accounts so you can learn of upcoming new engagement initiatives.